Hi, people. Let's see. Okay, Jackie, I'm ready when you are. Hey,
Hey, how are
I'm
you?
good.
Can you hear me okay?
It's not loud.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you must have a better microphone than I do.
Maybe. So how's your
So
day?
how's it going?
It's going good. I just look, I had to jump in the shower. I work from home, so I had to hurry up and jump in the shower and throw on something decent for the peoples.
But I understand. I understand. I figured I better go in there and run a brush through my hair or something. Oh, look, we've got a
Hey,
guest.
Tasha Mack. That's my good faithful honey. She been here since day one. I love me some Tasha Mack, honey. She comes on in.
Well, we need those the faithful ones for sure.
Cause when I blow up, I'll be able to shout out, to the people who started with me in the very beginning. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, like you say, we have to keep a list. Hey, when we make it, when you blow up,
Yes,
they're gonna be in the front row, right?
yes,
Talking about those were my supporters, my diehard supporters,
yes, yes.
my ride or die.
Uh-huh. So, how's everything going with you?
Everything's going fantastic. I mean, if you can imagine, it's actually cold here. So, I mean, it's like what? It's like the high is like 50. It's like, what is that? I mean, the low was 31. It's
What?
like,
What?
hey, Jesus,
Not not
Jesus is
in,
coming
not
back
in
soon.
sunny California.
In sunny Southern California, it is cold. What I call cold, I call California cold because when it gets down below, before 40 or something like that, I'm sitting there going, what?
Hey, Mr. Ford. I hope you stay in and watch tonight. We're gonna talk about some good stuff today. I got a live professional in the house all the way from Cali.
Absolutely.
Um,
Callie in the house.
yeah, it's cold here. It's actually freezing here. I think we're trying to get to above freezing because we got ice right now. It's ice on the streets. Yeah.
Really? Oh, okay. Then everybody ought to be on then. Nobody can go
Yeah,
anywhere. They ought
everybody
to be
gonna
on
go out
this
today.
live broadcast.
Maybe tomorrow. They go out tonight, they're gonna be slipping and sliding.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey,
Well, yeah,
Kenneth.
like I
Thank
said,
you for
today is
coming in, Kenneth. Kenneth is a real estate. I don't know if is he. I think he sells real estate. I believe. Hey, Ken.
wow.
So, Ken, I'm gonna have you on next.
Ooh,
hmm
I'm gonna have to follow
Yeah, I'm
that.
gonna reach out to Ken and see if he'll do a show with me and talk about his business. Hey, Ursula. Okay, I guess we get into it. We got a good two or three people, so we can go and get started. I'm fine with that. Hopefully people will chime in and come on in later, because I got some good information. I have my guest all the way from California talking. She is a, what is your title?
My title is whatever it needs to be today. Do you want me to make you money? Or you want me to save you money? That's my title.
Okay, we're gonna talk about getting some money in your pockets anyway. So my guest, y'all welcome my guest, Jacalyn Williams, all the way from sunny California. Tonight's topic is invest in yourself. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, tag, and share day-to-day conversations with KFLO. And the subject again is invest in yourself. So I'm getting my business, y'all business, everybody business. We're gonna talk business today for real, for real. So y'all please like, tag, and share. Jacalyn, tell me a little bit about yourself and how long you've been doing what you've been doing.
Well, I have been doing this for over 5 years. It's been a really, really exciting adventure, being able to share information about life insurance and about annuities, about retirement. What I'm really fascinated with is retirement. There's so much about retirement that we don't know anything about saving, investing, taking better care of ourselves. In fact, a really big topic right now that is, I mean, little known fact, Forbes magazine said that Black wealth will be negative, i.e. zero, in the year 2053. So I'm real passionate about talking about that right now.
Really?
So that's what I've been asked to speak about quite a bit.
Okay. Get my light together.
So that's
okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna jump into the first question. So, what is life insurance and why should people invest?
okay. Well, the first thing, let's say life insurance. Okay, that's protecting income. Most people think of what's the first thing they think of? They think of death benefit.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk about life
Right.
insurance. You know, everybody says, well, if I buy life insurance, I'm buying that for the person who's going to be here behind me, and I don't want to spend money on them. Okay, well, that is the original traditional idea of what life insurance is all about. But wealthy people have been using life insurance to build their wealth for years and years and years. It's a little known fact. And so life insurance has some features to it that most people don't know. So that's why I'm fascinated with life insurance, because I want to know how to build my wealth. That's what I do all day. I sit around and I'm eavesdropping on these wealthy people's conversation. And it's like, oh, you do that? Okay, I'm going to do that. You do that? Okay, I'm going to share this with my friends and make sure that they know how to do it too. So that's life insurance is all about living, if you really want to know the truth. It's about living well. It's about living, you know, being able to retire well, being able to have excess cash at your fingertips when you need it most. It's about eradicating GoFundMe accounts. It's all of that.
Right. Yeah, and because it's so sad to me how, because I've been to several funerals here in the last couple of months, and the story is all the same. Nobody, they have to scrounge and, have family meetings. We got to meet up real quick and get money, to bury these people. And I'm be like, why? It's just so many. And I don't know if that's with all cultures or mostly us. I know for Black folks, it's a real, thing that they don't, when somebody passes, they haven't taken care, of the necessary things, to get, family members and stuff buried. And I know I had a friend, I think, who was talking about, just burial insurance, and it was just burial insurance only. And I was thinking, well, I don't know if I need that just alone because I have, the life insurance or the annuity. So is annuity and life insurance, is that the same thing? Annuity and life, is that the same?
No, it's not the same, but it's kept by the same company. So let's just say annuities and life insurance are offered by life insurance companies, but they're two different things. A life insurance policy is to insure your income, meaning whatever income you provide to your family, then it's ensuring that that money will still be available to your family if you pass away. Mm-hmm. But an annuity is designed to grow your wealth. So an annuity is like housing your big savings, lump sum savings. So an annuity would be like if I had a 401k at an old job and I wanted to grow it, I wanted to double that amount, then I would roll that 401k into an annuity with a life insurance company that's doing like double-digit return. And I would double my 401k while I'm working on the new job. My old 401k is doubling. And so an annuity is a similar product, but it's a growth tool that people use that is offered by life insurance companies.
Okay,
So pensions.
Go ahead.
I was saying pensions are managed by insurance companies. So when people get a lifetime income stream on their retirement, it's being housed in a life insurance company. It's an annuity, but people just don't understand that. So then when you retire, you have a choice of which bank you want to pay you your lifetime income stream. And if you know what I know, you would probably call me first, because certain banks offer more money in their retirement payout than others.
Yeah, and see, it was hard for me to wrap my head around it because I don't have kids. So I have no one to, leave money to, right? But then after talking to you, you was like, well, no, you're putting aside money that's going to be, for me when I retire. Because I don't plan on being on my job until I'm 75, 80 years old. I really don't, right? And so I think how you got me interested into it is that, okay, so but by the time you put this much into it, in so many years, you'll have this much money. I'm like, well, to me, that's basically, I'm just giving money to myself, right? I'm really paying myself. And when I get ready to sit down off this job and have my talk show, right? I'm already I'm already have, money in the bank waiting on me. So that's what made me do it. But we are so skeptical, and I'm still skeptical of, hey Melina, hey Mipi, I'm still skeptical of anything that has to do with me giving up my money. And I think that's a concern, especially for poor Black folks. We're like, I don't have money, already. I'm barely trying to make it. So where am I going to get, money to set aside into account that's for years to come? You know what I'm saying? But we have to start thinking in terms of long-term wealth, not, short-term, what I can do right now. Right?
Absolutely. Hey, when I'm talking with clients and they say that exact thing, well, where am I going to get a little money to where I can invest in myself? Well, out here, Starbucks is a real big thing, and maybe other people in the Coffee Bean or other kind of, little shops that they stop at, like every day, $4 every day. So $4 a day, we're looking at, you could easily put away $200 a month and invest in yourself. So if you were just willing to give that part up, or at least modify that quite a bit, $200 a month could go a long way into providing something for you in your retirement. And something else you mentioned, you said, well, okay, if I don't have kids, does somebody who's single need life insurance? Absolutely. Because if you want tax-free retirement income, and by the way, most people are going to have taxable retirement, meaning all the money you've been saving on your job for your retirement will be taxed when you retire, as compared to you putting your money away in something that is not going to be taxed. So all the money that you pull out of your policy when you're retired, you won't be taxed on that money. So you'll be able to sit here and do your little, shows and everything else, and you won't be paying tax on that money because it's not taxable. Right. That's something else that people don't understand. And the other feature for you is you will get living benefits. What does that mean? That means if you had a heart attack, cancer, or stroke, you would have access to that cash, whatever your death benefit is. You'd have an accelerated death benefit. You'd have access to that. So if you need to go to Mexico or Switzerland or wherever you need to go to get the best coverage, the best treatment, you need to go to a spa for a month, then you've got access to that money without having to dip into your retirement. So that's another feature why a single person would need to have anything like this, because it's taking care of you. Right. It's taking care of you. So it's either going to build up your wealth, or it's going to be an access to additional cash if and when you need it, for some kind of a significant illness. But either way, it's going to be used on you.
Right. And so for me, and also for me, I know, I know people who they have to have Starbucks, like you said, like every day. And I'm like, how are you spending $6 or $7 on a cup every single day? Right? And
Oh
then,
yeah.
and now because I have my habits too. I love clothes. I do go shopping, and I don't think I have a huge shopping habit because I buy everything on sale. I never pay full price for anything. So I'm not the person that has to have, a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton. I'm not spending $700, $800 on no bag, on no shoes. I don't have to wear nobody else's name other than mine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Right.
fine going to the thrift store, and if it costs $10 and I like it, that's what I'm buying. I will not, and I refuse to spend thousands and thousands of dollars towards somebody else's name who has money that I can't even count. You know what I'm saying? So for
Bravo.
me to set
Bravo.
aside that money and invest it in myself, I'm gonna invest that in Kim. I'm not gonna invest that in Gucci because Gucci not giving me nothing, and I can't take Gucci with me when I leave this job. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
that's
right.
that's my mentality about it, right? So
Yep.
for me, I will put that money aside, and because I'm putting that aside for me.
That's
Nobody
right.
love me
That's
more
right. I
than, don't
mean,
nobody love me more than me.
there you go. There you go. And that's the right way to look at it. But a lot of us don't do that. We go and buy something that has somebody else's label or emblem. Like there's this swoosh thing that people will spend a lot of money on. Basically, you're making that person rich. Why don't you make yourself rich? Invest in yourself.
Exactly.
So, like you said, thrift shops, whatever the deal is. In other words, nobody needs to pay top dollar on anything. Let's see another thing. Something I'm finding a lot is when I'm sitting down with my clients and kind of breaking down their budget, and we're trying to figure out where their money is going. It's on streaming services. These people will be paying $150 a month on entertainment that they may or may not watch, and half that stuff is reruns. It's like, really? Really? Okay, do you need to have 20 streaming services? No, I don't think so. So anyway, you know, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just
I
saying,
have to.
I'm sure I might have a few more, but I don't get to watch them and somebody else is paying for them. So I, whatever. But for me, it's like, you pay what for what? Seriously? No. So there's a lot of ways to cut some spending if you were willing, like you said, go down to two and instead of having 20, because I know some people that have 20. I mean, literally, it's $100 a month for streaming services.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there going, seriously? I mean, is it that serious? You got to do that? Really? I mean, is it that good? Nah.
Well,
No,
not
I can
everybody
see it the
now
next day.
TV is good.
It is good. I get you. But I mean, but every streaming service,
I don't
I
have
mean,
every.
go over somebody else's
Yeah, no, I
house.
don't have every. So what would you say would be a good age to short? Now I started late because I didn't know about it. In the black community, this is just not what we discussed. We don't when I grew up, my mom didn't tell me about she didn't know anything about investing and annuities and insurance and all of that. So the only thing I invested in growing up, I paid my tithes and paid the
Yeah, oh yeah.
tithes and offering, and my mama taught me how to save money, but that was about it. So those things I have down. I'm like, if I tithe, I'll never be, absolutely broke. Hey, Sonya. And so for me, learning this at this age, right, I feel like I'm late, like real, 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 real late. So what would you say is a good age for people to start, the life insurance or annuity policies?
Today.
I know, but I get today, but like if you have children, like what age would you tell your, children that they need to, hey, let's start putting aside some money, for insurance? Like what's a good age for an adult, let's say like an 18, 19-year-old to start that plan?
Well, see, that's kind of a trick question because bottom line is the wealthy people start their policies on their kids at 6 months.
Wealthy
At
people.
6 months, because if you start it at 6 months old, then the cost per month is not big. But the older you get, the more expensive it's going to be because life insurance is based on life insurance. So the way that we formulate that policy, literally, if someone gave me $15,000 on a 6 month old, or let's just say a 5 year old, 5 year old, $15,000, they'll be a millionaire when they turn 60 and they never have to add another dollar.
A millionaire at 60?
A
Jesus
millionaire at 60, and
Christ.
they never have to,
Why did we not have this information?
because our parents were not taught this. This is passed down from wealthy families to wealthy families, and our families have never known this. Now, I'll let you know a little known fact. Black families are more likely to have life insurance. They're just underinsured and they don't know how to use it. So many of them will buy something called a whole life policy that they'll pay on for the rest of their life, and then get to the end of their life and it's like, okay, you've paid $50,000 into this policy, and how much was it worth? $3,000.
Okay.
You've
Did
overpaid
you
it.
read that question?
No, yes, it's not a whole life policy on a child. No, I'm not talking about a whole life policy. Because whole life, and there's different types of insurance. There's whole life, there's term, and there's universal life. Whole life will get you about 4% interest, which is better than the bank, but you'll pay it for the rest of your life. Term is temporary. You're only going to get it for 20 years, and then after that, the cost is going to be ridiculous. Universal life, we can tailor it to where you can only pay, let's say, pay for 20 years, and then it will last that child their entire lifetime. So if you start paying on it when they're 5, and you finish paying on it when they're 25, guess what? Now they have a lifetime insurance policy that's going to make them $1 million by the time they're 60 because of the interest that's bearing on that account. Real simple. In fact, with those child tax credits, what I'm doing for my clients, I'm taking maybe half of what they get for the child tax credit and multiplying that money. So they're already getting free money, right? They're getting money from the government. It ain't free, really.
Right.
We'll talk about that on another day. But they're getting that 170. If they put that 170 in that account for a certain amount of years, but if they put that 170 away for their kids will have $1 million policy. I've done that. They will have $1 million in their savings, and they'll only pay for us.
Unbelievable.
If the children are older, like 13 years old, no problem. They're still very inexpensive. Now, the caveat with that is the parent must have double whatever the child has. So if the child has a $250,000 death benefit, the parent must have 500,000. At least one of the parents must have. So if the children is older, like 13, no problem. It's no problem. It's still the same thing. But it takes time. The wealth formula is money plus interest plus time. And so if they get started at 13, it's just going to take them a little bit longer and a little bit more to get to where the policy of a child who started at 5.
Right, but that's still better than having zero.
That's true. That's true. For real.
Or starting when you over 40 like me, but that's okay.
That's all right. Like I said, I have some people that start, the kid is like 8, and then they might put away maybe $50 a month, $100 a month, something like that. It just depends on what they need. And each policy is custom fit. So, it really depends on the situation. It depends on what they're trying to do. It depends on, what they're comfortable with. Because what I won't do is I won't put them in something they can't handle. Let's see. Sonia is saying, is it best to go to the insurance company who has your policy? That's a very good question. You want to call your insurance company and ask them if that's what you have? I tell you what, I do reviews for free. How about I just take a look at your policy and I'll let you know if that's what you have or not. And then we'll just compare and contrast. I'll see whether or not what you currently have is competitive. And if it's not, I'll tell you. And if it is, I'll tell you that too. Because if I can't do better for you, there's no point in moving you from anything. I don't want you mad at me.
Because that's what you did for me. Because with my stuff or whatever that I have at my job, there was, I think my 401k or whatever, you looked at it to see if the investments on there I had were good and if I needed to move some stuff around, which, you did move some stuff around. And so I was like, okay, cool.
Absolutely.
So for free of charge. So a review is free, right?
A review is free. Reviews are always free. In fact, I don't charge for my consultation. Basically, I get paid from the companies that I work with. I get paid real well. So, I don't need to charge for my consultation.
Okay. So maybe Sonia, if you want to reach out to her, Jacalyn Williams, you're on Facebook. I don't know if you're on Instagram, Sonia, but if you want to reach out to her, or Jacalyn, do you want to give out your number on social media? Or would you rather
Well, they can go to
email?
my website. They can go to jacalynwilliams.com. I'm not good at typing on this thing, but they can go to jacalynwilliams.com. They'll be able to catch up.
Okay, Jacalyn, Jacalyn Williams.com.
Right. Hey, Jill. I see Jill is on. Hey, Jill.
Hey, Jill. Hey, Jill. Okay, what was my next question? We talked about why Black folks are so. Did we talk about why people are so skeptical of life insurance? Yeah, that's a good
Oh,
question.
absolutely. Yeah, that's a very good question. People are skeptical of life insurance. Number one, because they're talking about death. Okay, I don't want to talk about death. You putting something on me, and when I'm talking about death, and then, that, so that makes them uncomfortable. So first of all, they're skeptical. Second, they think that they're just leaving it for their beneficiaries. They don't realize that it actually has features that benefit them while they're
Oh,
living,
okay.
such as the cash value, such as the living benefits. They don't realize that's what life insurance is for.
Okay.
So what's another reason for being skeptical? Being put into the wrong product entirely, meaning someone sold them something that they thought was going to work one way and it ends up working or not working.
Mhm.
So that's the reason why they're skeptical. Or hey, they just didn't talk with someone who was an expert, because a lot of times someone will call and talk with a company, such as they have a particular insurance company, and they just call them and they tell them, hey, I need so much in life insurance. And that person says, sure, and they sell it to them. But they never sat down and actually did an evaluation of what this client needed.
Mhm.
They never actually determined whether they could comfortably afford it or not.
Mhm.
They didn't know what was needed. And that's the difference between me and someone who's just going to give you a quote. I'm going to sit down and ask you, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to build wealth? Are you are you protecting your family? Do you have to take care of a loved one, like your parents are staying with you? What are you using this for? There's things that I will ask that someone else won't. Someone else will just take down some numbers and just, they'll just take that down and just sell you anything. That's not me. So, but that is why people are skeptical, because sometimes they end up buying something that they didn't need or not getting enough. So,
Okay.
that's the difference.
Yeah, I'll put your website in the comments so they can reach out to you. You
Okay,
know, for me,
fantastic.
because because I had I was trying to pay my car off before I took on, we had this conversation. I'm like, yeah, it's only a couple of $100 a month, but I'm trying to pay this car off. So, and I only had like 3, 4 months left, to pay on my car. So I was like, well, let me pay the car off. And then that's, a couple of $100 a month, money that I was spending anyway on a car note, you know what I'm saying? So I might as well put it toward this insurance policy. So that did, it didn't take a whole lot to convince me once you said I would have so much money after so many years. I was like, oh,
There
okay,
we
yeah, I'm
go.
in.
Like I said,
I'm
because
in.
if you could put it in the bank, you could put it in the bank, and what are you gonna get in the bank?
Right. Okay. And so crazy story. So I had my bank who financed my house. I just got my house refinanced for makeover. And so the loan officer called me yesterday and said, Miss Keaton, we need, he was like, you cashed a check that the Dallas County sent you. You cashed it and sent it to your business account. And he said, we're going to need that money back. And I said, what do you mean you need the money back? He said, well, the check was sent to you in error. I said, well, okay, well, that's not my fault. It was
Right. That's not a big
That's not my fault. Y'all send me a check in error. And I said, and the check, as a matter of fact, I called Dallas County when I got the check because I was like, where's this check coming from? I'm like, I didn't think or know of any reason why I would be due this money. So I called Dallas
uh-huh.
County and told them, hey, I got this check because I'm that person. I'm not going to jail for nobody. So I called, hey, y'all sent me a check for this amount. Is this my check? Do y'all mean to send this? Is this my money? And they were like, yes, Miss Keaton, everything is fine. There was a overreach on taxes or something, so you're due this money. I'm like, okay, cool. So me, put it right in the bank because I didn't know. I wanted to invest it, but I was like, well, let me hold on to it until I find something that I'm familiar with or somebody can explain to me how to invest this money, right? So, and I held on to the check. I got the check in November. I didn't cash it until February. And so anyway, he
Making
calls
sure.
me and says, huh?
Making
Yeah,
sure.
sure. I'm like, let me hold on to it in case they say, ma'am, that ain't your money. So anyway, I waited, cashed it, and lo and behold, a couple of weeks later, I get a phone call saying, well, yeah, that's not your money. So what the bank did, which was really stupid, they put my account and another member's account on the same check for taxes, sent it to Dallas County for them to break in half and distribute, right? Well, that didn't happen, so Dallas County ended up sending the whole check to me,
Oh my.
right? And
Oh
so when
my.
I called Dallas County, she was like, well, are you sure that's your bank? She said, because that sounds like a scam. I said, well, if I didn't already have the man's number, in my phone, I would have thought it was a scam. I said, but I had his number programmed in my phone. And so I said, so then I called my other friend, my other cousin, Yvonne, because I talked to her about, money and, big decisions and stuff like that. She was like, She's like, no, ma'am. She's like, no, ma'am. That's your money. If they sent that money to you and it's got your name on it, she said, that's not your fault. They made a mistake, right? And so I called Dallas County back and I said, well, I don't want to. I said, because the man at the bank said, well, this is another service member's money for her taxes. And she's getting charged, late fees and stuff because Dallas County sent her money to you. And I'm like, again, that's
Uh-huh.
still not my fault, sir.
That's not your right.
It's not my fault. But
Like,
I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I called Dallas County, confirmed everything. They was like, well, we don't have any discrepancies as far as we know. The check belongs to you. I said, well, can you just do an investigation or do whatever y'all need to do? I said, because this man is talking about he got to take this money out of my account, which they can do because my loan is attached to that bank account, so they can take it out.
right.
So I said,
Right.
well, I called the man back. I said, go ahead and take the money. I don't want no problems. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to think about it. What if I was, that other service member, what I'm saying, who's getting hit with these fees because of somebody else's error, right? So I had to turn on my Christian
Right.
hat. I
That's
had to
right.
turn on my
That's right.
Kim hat and turn on my Christian hat and say, what would I want somebody else to, if the roles were reversed, you know what I'm saying? So even though I feel like honestly Dallas County made the mistake, so they should have reimbursed them, but I'm not gonna go through all that. I have no drama. My life is stress free, and I didn't want the headache of trying to go back and forth and I just take the money back. You know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't want to because I'm going on vacation in a couple of weeks, so I was gonna use that money, but it's okay. She got money in reserve. I got money in reserve, so I'm good.
There you go. Hey, but as a little point to that story, life insurance, they can't tap your accounts like that. So money that's in your life insurance cannot be touched like that.
Mm.
They cannot go in and reverse anything. It belongs to you. Life insurance is veiled. And that's also an added tip for someone who's going to be filing for FAFSA, college savings, that kind of thing.
Mm.
If you're saving that college savings in your life insurance product,
Mm.
then guess what? You qualify for all of that financial aid. You qualify for everything because your savings is in a life insurance product. That's another little known tip. So, when somebody calls me and they want to talk about different things, you want to talk about college savings, you want to talk about tax-free retirement, that's also in my wheelhouse. I'll be more than happy to have that
You
conversation.
got all the good nuggets and information. Okay, again, if y'all contact her, JacalynWilliams.com. She's on Facebook as Jacalyn Williams. I'm guessing she will respond to a DM. Somebody message you,
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely. Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
she's all the way in Southern
I'll do
California. She's a real professional. These ain't hood nuggets, okay? This is a
that.
professional, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm licensed in other states. So feel free to reach out.
Okay, so tell us about, you said that you were looking for people you was thinking about doing something here in Texas, recruiting.
Absolutely. I want to actually set up an office in Texas. I want to get an office established in Dallas. If any of you know of life insurance agents, they're already licensed, but they're looking for a home, a place to hang their license, hey, have them reach out because, hey, the financial industry is where the money is being made. So why not? Is if they want to reach out and say, hey, I'd really like to check out, some of the services and the way that you're able to help families to build their wealth and to protect their income, I'll be more than happy to have that conversation and show them how to have a very, very lucrative income stream just in their spare time. I mean, I'd rather go full time personally because, I like that 6-figure income. But, some people don't have that kind of time. They love what they do. So I'll say, I'll take some time. If they want to be a sometime, that's fine too. But they want to be a full timer, we can roll.
And see, I'm still considering it. My thing is, I don't want to learn. I'm so comfortable, and I feel
That's
like
the
I
issue.
just don't want to take the time to learn something new because it feels like it would be like school for me.
For about maybe about 45 days. After that, you'd be all good to go. You could just, oh, I can do
45
this. I can
days.
do this. Yeah, about 45 days. That's about how long it takes you to really kind of understand what you're doing. I mean, bottom line is it good for people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it easy to tell them that, would you rather have a tax-free retirement or a taxable retirement? How hard is it to say that?
And so okay, so how is this annuity insurance better? Well, I wouldn't say better, but how is it different from a regular 401k?
Well, a regular 401k is something that you put in at your job. They take the money out of your paycheck before you actually receive it. And when you work at a company, usually the company will match. So if the company is matching, then we say, yeah, get that free money from the company who's matching. But most people don't understand is the fact that they're not being taxed on that money. So what do we hear at the end of the year? Whew, I'm so glad I invested in that 401k. I would have had to pay an extra $10,000 in tax this year. And that's what you think. But if you really understood the way that we're going to be taxed on that money, so let's say that 10,000 that you saved this year grows to be 100,000. So when you're ready to retire and now you have 100,000 to save, how much are you going to be taxed on? All of it, 100% of it. So now that 10,000 grew to be 100,000, now you're going to be taxed at 100,000 rather than being taxed at 10,000. And most people don't realize that. So that's the difference between a 401k and maybe a life insurance product, is the fact that you're going to pay tax on the 10,000, but you will not pay the tax on the 100,000. So let's just apples to apples. If you had a $10,000 that you had to pay the tax on this year, let's say that you'd be taxed at 30%. Okay, so you got to pay $3,000. You put the 7,000 into your life insurance, and then that 7,000 grows into 100,000. Guess what? You're not going to pay tax on it. Now, if you wait until it grows to be 100,000 and you pay that 30% on 100,000, that's $30,000. What would you rather? Would you rather 3,000 or 30,000?
30.
Because Uncle Sam's gonna get
Oh, he's
his
gonna
cut.
get his.
He's gonna get his cut. So if you understand how this game is played, you determine when you want to pay the tax. Do you want to pay a little tax or a lot? Which one you want to pay?
And see that all that money, all that math stuff, child. I don't be know. I barely pass math, child. So don't ask me no questions about no math. But
Hey,
I get
you
it.
understand money math. You understand money math.
I mean, barely.
Well, that's all I'm saying. That's why I get so fascinated, because when you start talking about money math, I can multiply all day long. Now you tell me about something else like some calculus and mess like that. No, I can't tell you anything about that. But I can tell you about some money math. When you talk about my money, I can figure it out real quick. Are you making me money and you taking my money?
Okay.
That's what we come down to.
And so, and I know also you were telling me that, because right now I do have a 401k, and you found out, because I thought they were matching, my job was matching my 401k, only to find out that they are not.
Oh,
Yeah, but you found that out, right? And so,
oh yeah.
and then also I think you told me that I would be able to roll let's just say I leave my job, I don't know, in a couple of years. And I can take the money from my 401k and move it to my,
Okay, let's say it very
yeah, let me
carefully.
say it right.
Jacalyn, can move your money from one place to the
Okay.
next. Kim can't do that.
Okay. But I can move my 401k into a Roth account though, right? If I have a Roth account set up?
Yes, you can. But that depends though, Kim. We have to talk. That's a little bit more technical. But if you wanted to do such a thing, we could do that. But we would have to do some strategy to determine which would be the most cost effective that would minimize the tax on that amount. So the answer to that question is it depends.
It depends. Okay. Because I already have a Roth account that I opened up because it's with the same company.
Right.
Because there was a lady that was going to charge me like, I don't know, almost $500 to open me a Roth IRA account. And I was like, nah. And so I called the company that I already had the 401k at, which is through my bank, and asked them, I said, how much would y'all charge me to open up a Roth account? And they were like, well, it's free because you already have a 401k. I'm like, oh, well, sign me up.
Right. Right.
So it's open.
Well, I
There
tell
ain't
you
no
what.
money in it, but it's open.
Well, I tell you what. Let's have that. Invite me back on, and we'll talk about Roths and 401ks and all that stuff, because that's going to take a little bit more time to develop the story. However, that is a very fascinating question that you just asked. And the answer is it depends. I have to sit down and do an analysis with each client to determine what's the best exit strategy from the 401k.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to say? I think I asked everything. I asked about so these are the questions that we went through, you guys, so you can rewatch the show later. I'll tell you the questions we asked. I asked, what is life insurance and why should we invest in it? What's a good age to invest in life insurance policy? Why are people so skeptical of life insurance? What's the difference between life insurance and burial insurance? How does it help retirement? And I didn't ask this, but I think you told us, can I make money selling insurance?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And let me give a little teaser to that conversation you just started. Was, okay, your 401k, why would I roll a 401k? Let's say I just left my job and I went someplace else. Could I roll my 401k into a different product? Absolutely. And that's something that I do because I'm licensed to do it. But if I move it from one place to the next, would you like to be able to grow it with no loss?
Yes.
Would you like to be able to grow it within like 10 years, maybe double it possibly?
Yeah. I mean, because the only reason I'm gonna move it is so I can make more money. Otherwise I would leave it where it is. Yeah, Yolanda. See, I didn't know the APHIS never matched. Somewhere in my head, I thought the APHIS was matching our 401k. Yeah, goes to show you how much I know.
But see, that's why we do what we do. We sit down, we help you to slow down, because most people take more time to plan their vacation than they do to plan their retirement. Okay, so that's what we do. We help you to slow down for a minute and take a look at what you have, and let's see if it's going to get you to where you want to go. And if it's not, let's find something else.
Right. Okay.
So,
okay, does anybody have any questions? Because we've said a lot.
We did, but anybody want to post questions in the chat?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Does anybody have any questions?
Hey, Crystal. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Meepy. Wow. Oh, hey, and I'm gonna be talking again tonight. I'm gonna have a Zoom webinar tonight. We're gonna be talking about yeah, black wealth is gonna be zero in 2053. That's gonna be our
What does
topic
that
tonight. It's gonna be
mean?
not on
What
money.
does that mean?
What does that mean? That means that they are predicting that black people will not have any wealth in 2053 because they're not putting it away. They're not
Yeah,
saving.
because they're
The
spending it
people,
on Gucci's and Jordans.
there you go. And what's happening is our generations, the generations coming up after us, are not saving money.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And not because, and I think it's just because they don't know. That's
They
just
don't know.
not being, that information is not being taught to our community. The white folks got it on lock.
Absolutely.
Like you said, they get their baby's insurance at 6 months. It's us who are late, like real late.
Yeah. We don't know to put money away. We don't know where to put it. We don't know where to grow it. We don't know how important it is to start putting money away for ourselves because we have a retirement problem in America,
Mm.
but our community especially does not know where to put the money, and they don't know how to transfer wealth. So when someone passes away, if the kids don't have the taxes to pay for that transfer, they're going to lose the house. They're going to lose the business. They're going to lose all of that because they have not set it up properly. Transferring wealth is another thing that we do. So that's important. That's very important to know. How do we transfer wealth? How are we able to pass what we've worked so hard for, pass that on to our kids without them being slammed with taxes and they can't afford it, they can't take care of it? We have done them a disservice by working for 40 years, building an empire, and then our kids lose it. How many restaurateurs or things have you seen? Well, don't mention COVID, but in years past where somebody, the patriarch passes away and all of a sudden the business folds.
Right. Yeah, I saw a lot of that. And there were businesses that were open for, I saw one business that I think they had been open for 20, 30 years. And then COVID hit and they had to close down. For 20, y'all been open for 20 years and y'all had to close down because of COVID. I'm like, what were y'all doing with all that money y'all been making for the last 20 years? That's
But then again,
crazy.
a business,
That is crazy.
yeah, I like it. COVID is a little unique. COVID's a little unique. So I don't really fault people, when it comes to COVID because it was unique and they had some pressures that they just could not overcome. But let's just say prior to COVID, there's a lot of people who lose their business or they lose their house or they lose their estate because they didn't plan ahead of time. And living trust and things like that is a very important topic as well. And life insurance specifically, being able to put a name on your savings. So if you have an annuity or you have a life insurance policy, that's how wealthy people pass on wealth because they name their beneficiaries. So it doesn't go into probate. Because if your estate goes into probate, believe me, the attorneys are going to spend all of that money. They're going to figure out a way to keep your estate in probate until they spend it all. So they spend it all. When the state gets involved with your stuff, you're not going to see much of it. Your kids won't either. So it's very important to put a name on your estate, to have a trust set up, to make sure that that everything is going to be well taken care of, and that you have life insurance, and that your retirement actually has a beneficiary on it. I can tell you some horror stories about that. Absolutely.
My brother is living through a horror story right now, because my dad didn't do any of that. And so my brother was left with hundreds of thousands of debts.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that he's paying. Now, because here's the thing, the his initial property and stuff was left, to me and my brother and I think my nephew. But with all the fees and stuff, now me personally, with my Kim hat, my business hat, I was like, well, let's just say I did not see the point in trying to save all of that stuff with all of those fees and all those taxes and everything. In my mind, I'm like, just sell it, get rid of it, and take the loss. But my brother is a different kind of person. He real different. And so what I ended up doing and I didn't want to do was just taking my name off of, because it wasn't going to do me any good. If we're not selling it, it doesn't do me any good to have my name attached to it if we're not going to sell it and make money from it. You know what I mean? So take my name off. You want to pay all those taxes? You want to pay all them hundreds of thousands of dollars? Go right ahead. Right? And so.
Ooh. See, that's the whole point. A simple life insurance policy would have covered all of that.
Oh, easily.
That's what we do.
Easily.
A simple life insurance policy would have covered any debts. That's what we do. We look at how much debt, how much, any mortgage, if you still have a mortgage that you're on, or rent, if you need to provide for some kids. We look at the income, we look at what your situation is going to be if you were to pass away, and we leave your family in good shape. That's the whole point. You're leveraging somebody else's money. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about maybe for $50, $100, maybe $200 a month. But if something happens to you in month 2, guess what? Your family gets $500,000. Your family gets $1 million, whatever it is. But it's just leveraging somebody else's money to keep your family from going through that kind of trauma. And that's what we do all day, every day. So nobody should have to go through that. Nobody should lose a business or anything else behind some kind of debt that somebody else created. Nobody should have to.
Yeah, that was my thing. I'm not finna spend my money paying off somebody else's debt. I'm like, and yeah, I know my dad, he didn't, he came up in that before generation. They didn't, they just didn't take care of things the way they should have because they didn't know. But again, that's not my fault. That's not my bill. I'm not paying for that. I'm only paying for my bills. I'm not paying for nobody else's bills.
I hear you.
So
I hear you. When we know better, we do better.
Exactly. That's my motto, honey. I am here to inspire, encourage, and empower you to live life better. We have to live life better. When you get the information, you got to use it. What good is knowledge if you're not going to use it? That's wasted knowledge, right?
Absolutely. So I have so enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Kim, for bringing me on. I have totally enjoyed this show.
Okay, good. So I guess if no one has any questions, hey, Nola, you're going to have to go back and watch it later, boo, because we back through.
Hey, Jermaine.
But I appreciate you.
Hey, Auntie April.
Yeah, I saw April, Crystal, JT. Is Ursula here? Yeah. Oh, Yolanda's here. So we did good. This is actually the best show I've had with the most views. Woo woo!
Woo! Hey, girl, bring me back on again. We can talk about some other stuff too.
All right. So if no one has any questions, Jackie, do you have any final words?
Well, I just really appreciate, this has been an honor for me to be able to come onto your show. All of your topics have always been so timely, and you do such a great job of looking for things that are important to people and finding solutions. And I'm just honored to have been asked to speak today. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, you're very welcome. It was my pleasure to have you on. Again, you guys, you can go back and watch. I'm going to post the show. So if you miss anything, you can go back and watch it. The topic of the show was invest in yourself. So please like, tag, and share. I'm not sure. The next topic, I'm going to have Miss Sonia Howard as my guest. I don't know if y'all know Sonia, but that's my cousin. And it ain't nothing fake about that sister. She comes with a real. So we're going to talk to her in the next couple of weeks. That's going to be very interesting. So, anybody?
Oh, please. Yes, I can't wait. That's going to be fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be good. Okay, so thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Remember, again, I will say this again. I am here to inspire, encourage, and empower you to live life better. You guys, please like, tag, and share. Thank you, Denise. And I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. because I do this not every Thursday, but every other Thursday. So I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Thanks everyone for joining in. Thank you for your comments and your questions, and I will see you guys in a couple of weeks.
All right.
Peace.
Love you
All
guys.
right, bye.